response from nearly every one of the governments represented here has been absolutely nothing. Utter silence. Deafening silence. Perhaps you can now understand why Israel is not joining you in celebrating this deal.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, an abbreviated edition of the 44 seconds of silence that Benjamin Netanyahu provided during his speech at the United Nations today. Joining us on the Malzberg panel, Hank Sheinkopf, president of Sheinkopf Communications, Democratic political consultant, and Newsmax contributor, and Noah Rothman, assistant online editor at Commentary Magazine. Welcome to both of you. Hank, this comes a day after Mahmoud Abbas, who to me is Yasser Arafat in a suit, stands before the United Nations and basically rips up the Oslo Accords, and nobody says boo.
Well, this is another sign of the weakness of this president and the failure of this president to stand up and enforce international accords, to side with the good guys, the people the United States is supposed to be with, and instead, by his silence, allows the bad guys to get away with murder.
What about it, Noah?
Yeah, from the Israeli perspective, this has to start feeling a lot like 1967. You have a dictatorial regime that is pledging the destruction of Israel, can't accomplish that feat, and is being ignored by the international community. They are being surrounded by hostile powers. The situation in Syria is increasingly dire. The Israelis are coordinating now with Russia, which is executing airstrikes in Syria, to no avail, and is not either dislodging Assad or halting the Islamist advance. The Israeli position is tenuous, and that's reflected in Benjamin Netanyahu's rather dire comments.
And what do you think, Hank, of the 44 seconds which we showed at the beginning of the program of silence? I mean, I think this is going to go down, and his face, the expression on his face as he constantly looked around during those silent moments, as if to put the onus on everybody in that body, every member of that body. I think it's going to go down as one of the great moments in United Nations history.
Well, it will certainly be extraordinary, but what is worse is that, the world loves dead Jews. They will build monuments to them, and Barack Obama, God forbid, will be there to enjoy putting up that monument with the rest of the world. The problem they have is with live Jews. You see, that's a very serious issue. Nobody is saying that more clearly than Benjamin Netanyahu, and what the world is doing again is refusing to pay attention. Is it like 67? The Israelis are in a much different position. They are looking east, they're not looking west, and that will be a serious problem long-term for the United States of America.
And Noah, you make a great analogy to 67 when we're talking about, the war that could be, God forbid, coming. However, Netanyahu's purpose there was to draw an analogy with the silence to how the world remained silent during the murder and slaughter of 6 million Jews.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's entirely fair just yet. God forbid that it becomes justified. Obviously, we can't ever allow that position, and that's what Benjamin Netanyahu is alluding to, I believe. Unlike before the Holocaust, as Hank ably noted, the Israeli position is far different today. The Israelis are far more capable of self-defense, and they have demonstrated how they are more than willing to execute substantial military actions in their own defense. And that's what I believe Benjamin Netanyahu is alluding to here. This is a prelude to war.
I know, Hezbollah is now participating in Syria under the command of Iran, with Russia under the Russian umbrella.
Yeah, the Syrian situation is absolutely perilous, not merely because of the threats that Israel is facing, but because we have NATO-allied forces executing airstrikes in the same theater as Russian forces with limited military-to-military conflicts. The chances for an international incident that would spiral rapidly out of control very quickly is incredibly high. We have absolutely no choice now but to cooperate with Russia in order to make sure that our two militaries don't come into contact, and that puts the Israelis sort of on the out. We're now working with Russia in its goal of neutralizing CIA-armed operatives on the ground in Syria. It's a mess.
There's only one person to blame for this chaos. His name is Barack Obama. He's allowed the Americans to appear weak. He's destroyed our relationships with our friends, and he's helped our enemies.
Politically speaking, considered, political strategist extraordinaire. Is this an opportunity for Hillary? Does she sit back and say nothing? Does she come forward and say, this isn't the reset I wanted? What does she do?
Hillary Clinton is not going to say a word about this except probably to go after the Israelis in some offhanded comment. Why? Because she can't afford to alienate voters who are far to the left, and that's what she would do by opening her mouth.
By the way, the revelation that one of her emails from back in 2011, before a Netanyahu visit, a BBC journalist who covers the State Department emailed to say that Netanyahu sounded cocky, and she said, Hillary said in response, Israelis always sound cocky. Way to go, Hill, big lover of Israel and the Jewish people. All right, thank you both to Hank Sheinkopf and Noah Rothman. Gimme 5 is next, folks. Don't go away.